We are now joined by Professor Kobi Michael, Senior Research Fellow at the INSS, as well as the Mizgov Institute. Kobi, thank you so much for being with us. I want to look now more at that battle in Khan Yunis. What exactly does victory in Khan Yunis look like, and how far is Israel from achieving those conditions there?
Good morning. I cannot assume when the victory will come, but the victory, at least in my perception or in my understanding, is the idea of collapsing the military gravity center of Hamas in the Khan Yunis area. And I think that we are getting closer and closer in each day to achieve this goal. And it looks that after encircling Khan Yunis area, the IDF forces will have to do some additional efforts inside the area in order to dismantle some military facilities. But I think that it will be sooner than later, and this center of gravity will collapse. And we will remain with a very significant challenge, which is Rafah area, and mainly the Philadelphia corridor.
How is Israel going to tackle that challenge? As you mentioned, Hamas has its remaining brigades there, but they're surrounded by well over 1 million civilians that Hamas will use as shield, and the international pressure in Rafah will be like nothing we have seen this entire war.
First of all, Israel has to reach to an understanding with the Egyptians with regard to the idea of blocking the Philadelphia corridor. And this is something which requires some facilities that should be built there, like the barrier that we have along the border with the Gaza Strip, and the operational method of this barrier. And it looks that the United States will have a very significant role in this regard in order to facilitate the understanding between Israel and Egypt. And with regard to the entire area of Rafah, I assume that the IDF will find a sort of a solution with regard to the vast majority of the population there by moving at least part of this population to other parts of the Gaza Strip. It might be the northern parts of the Gaza Strip or the eastern part of Rafah, which is closer to Kerem Shalom area, which generally speaking is a very open space area. I mean, it's not populated area. But we are not there yet, and I assume that the IDF makes all the required preparations in order to accomplish the mission in Rafah area as well. But I would like to emphasize in this regard that the most important or the most crucial area or objective in Rafah is the Philadelphia corridor, not Rafah itself.
Now, on the topic of demolishing Hamas infrastructure, which is, as you just said, the focus, the Philadelphia corridor, but also the rest of the Strip, what a victory ends up looking like. We're already seeing reports that Hamas is attempting to infiltrate their own security and police squads back into Gaza City. Under those circumstances, it seems like they are attempting to reestablish infrastructure. That infrastructure has not been destroyed.
The way to dismantle this infrastructure, which is more civilian or governmental than military, is to begin establishing or creating the alternative to Hamas. The population or the Gazans, the civilians in Gaza, must be convinced that Hamas is not an option anymore, that Hamas will not remain as an effective military and governmental entity in the Gaza Strip, and there is a real alternative to Hamas. As long as the population will not be convinced that there is a real alternative to Hamas, they will continue supporting Hamas, and they will enable Hamas to recover its capacities with regard to the governmental parameters or aspects of its being in Gaza. And this is the reason that Israel, together with its allies here in the region and the United States, must make a step forward with regard the what is under the code name of the day after, okay? And a new establishment should be formed in the Gaza Strip that will be perceived by the local population as a real alternative to Hamas.
I want to shift arenas right now, so stay on the line with us, Kobi. We're going to talk about the Houthis for a moment. The U.S. military says it carried out 2 more strikes in Yemen early on Wednesday, destroying 2 Houthi anti-ship missiles that were aimed at the Red Sea and were preparing to launch. The U.S. strikes, which took place at about 2:30 a.m. local time, are the latest against the Iran-backed group over its targeting of Red Sea shipping and follow a larger round of strikes Monday night and Tuesday morning that hit 8 strategic sites in Yemen. The Houthis say they will continue to attack shipping as long as Israel operates against the Hamas terror group in Gaza. The attacks have disrupted global shipping and deepened concern that fallout from the war will destabilize the entire Middle East. Kobi, I'm going to come back to you on this topic. The United States are ramping up action against the Houthis, but again, it is still extremely specific actions. Is this enough to actually put their threat down?
Not at all. And as you rightly said, it's very limited. And it looks that the United States of America really fears or makes all the efforts in order to avoid further escalation because the United States doesn't want to be involved in a broader regional war because there are very significant ramifications to such a regional war. But I think that the United States understands pretty well that without hitting Iranian assets and without signaling to Iran that they are under danger if they will continue supporting the Houthis, it will continue. Nothing significant will come out of that. And I think that the idea that the Americans or the coalition continue attacking Houthi targets in Yemen, and in the very same time, Iran continue providing the Houthis with intelligence and with military equipment, I think that this is not less than a joke. And this is the time, or we have reached to the time, that the United States must be much more serious vis-a-vis Iran. Otherwise, nothing will come out of that.
Well, thank you very much, Kobi, for breaking down the situation for us and for joining us on all of these topics.